Thank you. I'd like to call the October 13th, 2025 Tuckahoe Metropolitan Park District Board of Commissioners regular meeting to order. Mission and vision.
I got you.
Thank you.
Can you read your mission statement? To provide a welcoming public response sustainable manner and a fiscally responsible manner with a focus on educating all people in lifelong skills of water safety. He's sharing out this mission with the board and staff who are compassionate, inclusive, and responsive to the needs of our diverse community, working to foster positive and lifelong experiences in aquatic environments. The TPMP vision statement reads, contributing to the quality of life for our community and future generations through welcoming, fun, safe, and positive aquatic experiences in a particular location.
Thank you, Brad. We'd like to join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, roll call. I'll start to my left.
Commissioner Frangillo Anderson present.
Commissioner Gangler present.
Commissioner Stahl present.
Commissioner Zapple present. We're also joined by District Clerk Emily Sneer, our Executive Director Brad Perkin, our Program Manager Anastasia Shapiro, and our Operations Manager Matthew Summerland.
Make a motion.
Thank you.
Make a motion that we, what do we do?
Excuse.
That would be excuse. Commissioner Shipman.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of excusing Commissioner Shipman, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Yes. Okay, a motion, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I moved.
Second.
And then I'm actually looking to amend it,
Oh, you'd like to amend
the agenda, the order.
Okay,
I'm looking for a motion to move feasibility committee report up to 05. Along, and then continue with the remaining items in there.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion as amended? Sorry, is there any discussion on that? So all those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. So now we move to number 4, which every October when our land lease is due, we do our land acknowledgement. We at the Tukwila Pool Metropolitan Park District would like to acknowledge that the land on which we operate is the traditional land of the first peoples of Tukwila, the Salish people of the past, present, and emerging generations. We honor them and show gratitude to them and the land. All right, so the amended agenda now puts feasibility report up to the top because we have our attorney with us, Brian Snur, who I'm sure most of us know, you know, that Andrew, maybe not so much.
I think I've emailed them.
Okay. So the reason, as part of our FSC report, the committee really wanted to make sure that commissioners understood the full tax levy implications, why we can do it, and if we started, because we as a committee are making a recommendation to do the full tax levy in 2026, moving forward due to the capital project. So the committee provided in our packet 2 levy explanation documents. They both have the same information, just one is structured as more of a Q&A, and they have both been reviewed by legal. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian to provide clarification surrounding the why we can levy the full amount listed on our King County assessment and to field any questions commissioners may have.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa. Good to see everybody this evening. So metropolitan park districts are kind of odd. particularly Tukwila and Mount Rainier, because you were both created about the same time and have kind of the same taxing um, anomaly, I guess I would call it. So, kind of big picture, when the voter approved the formation of the Tukwila Park District, they approved it with a ballot title that said you would be funded with a levy of 15 cents per thousand of assessed value. And everybody thought, okay, that's what it is. And you were created and you started levying at that rate. And then probably the second year you levied tax, you would have gotten the tax levy worksheet from the county, and it would have showed that you could have levied in that second year probably somewhere close to 75 cents per thousand. And when that happened, we were all like, well, that's not right because the voters approved us at 15 cents. We went to the Department of Revenue, did this for both Tukwila and Mount Rainier. I don't remember who at the time, but Department of Revenue said, yeah, we understand what the voters said, but there's nothing in the law that allows the voters to cap a levy rate. So when you were created, the voters told you to levy at 15 cents, but legally, as a newly formed Metropolitan Park District, you had statutory capacity to levy the full 75 cents per thousand. So that's where we started, and that position hasn't changed. There was a legislative change a few years ago that corrected that. So now if a park district is formed today, they would be limited by whatever the voters say, but that doesn't apply to the Tukwila Metropolitan Pool Park District. So fast forward now to 2025, um, you still, because you've levied at the 15 cents rate for your history, you've kind of left money on the table. That's what's called bank capacity. And the easiest way I think to think of banked capacity is the law assumes that in year one you levied 75 cents per thousand and you collected that much money. Every subsequent year, the law assumes that you would take 1% more than the prior year, just which is because we're subject to a 1% limitation on tax increases. Most judicial or most political subdivisions are. You get 1% more than you asked for the year before. That's the statutory 1% limit. So the law assumes that you've done that since 2011, but you haven't, right? Because you've levied at 15 cents, far below what you could have levied. As assessed values go up in your district, that levy rate gradually goes down because of the 1%. Assessed values grow more than 1%, and your budget, your statutory authority only goes up by 1%. So over time, that 75-cent rate keeps getting pushed down. And according to your current levy worksheet, it's right around 42 cents right now. But the law assumes that you could have levied those amounts all of the time. And so now, that coming into this year or next year, whatever, you have the legal authority to, without any voter approval, to increase your levy rate to 40, the equivalent of 42 cents. What you're actually doing is you are asking the county to levy a dollar amount in terms of your whatever your budget is, that would then correlate to a 42-cent levy rate. I mean, you'd figure out the dollar amount you need. You'd be limited based on the worksheet. You couldn't levy more than 42 cents, but you would ask for that amount of money. The taxpayers would pay at 42 cents per thousand instead of 15 cents per thousand. And that is perfectly legal because that's what the law says. The law says you can levy 101% of your highest lawful levy since 1985. Your highest lawful levy is based on the assumption that you've always levied your maximum rate. And the law is created so that you're in kind of a unique situation. But for a lot of taxing districts, what the law wants to say is you don't have to levy your full amount every year. But if you don't worry, we're not going to take that away from you. So it kind of protects and allows taxing districts to levy less than they need, knowing that if they run into a problem in the future, they can recover that capacity without having to go to the voters. So that's the philosophy behind the law. In your situation, it's just kind of exaggerated. Same type of thing happens to, I represent a lot of fire districts. Fire district has a big chunk of property annexed out of it, so its assessed value drops significantly, but its highest lawful levy before the annexation was a much higher number, so they can keep levying at their maximum rate for many years before that 1% limit ever affects them. So simple as that.
Who makes the laws?
So, Andrew, did you have any questions?
No, I just find it really fascinating that just seems so unique.
Ellen?
Everyone, we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
made it hard to research on my own.
I'm confused, Brian. You said we could, so if we had wanted to, instead of 15 cents, we could have levied at 75 cents. Correct?
Correct.
But we can't levy at 75 cents now.
Correct.
Why not? Why not?
That gets back to what I was trying to explain. So in year one, if you had levied at 75 cents, I'm just going to make up numbers now so I can do the math in my head,
Okay.
which I'm not really good at. So the first year you were created, 75 cents generated $100 in revenues to you. Okay. Well, the
Okay.
next year you could have levied $101, right? Because that's 1% more than 100.
Right.
Your levy rate is based on your assessed value. So your budget, you go from 100 to 101, that's 1%. If at the same time your assessed values went up 10%, so your assessed values for $100 would have been,
110?
well, I mean, it's per thousand, so it'd be $10,000 would have been your assessed value, I think. So if it went up 10%, it would be $11,000. Well, 75 cents times $11,000 is more than $101, but you can't take that amount. In other words, as the assessed values go up, if they go up more than 1%, that levy rate, that 75 cents, always goes down because by law you can't take more than 1% per year. But your levy rate is calculated based on assessed values. So the higher the assessed values go, something has to change. You can only levy a specific dollar amount. That's 1% more. So the factor that changes is the levy rate. In order to keep you at that 1%, it has to keep going down. So I guess, if assessed values go up 5% and you levy 1%, then your levy rate will go down by 4%. And if that happens year after year, so once again, if you had always levied your maximum, if you had just been approved to start a pool district and you just went out and levied 75 cents the first year, you never went back for a lid lift, your levy rate right now would have been pushed down to approximately 42 cents because assessed values have grown that much over the past 14 years.
Our city's assessed value.
Yeah.
Our property taxes or our property values might have doubled, but it doesn't mean we could levy twice as much.
Huh.
But if I understand correctly, the way I did the research on it, it hasn't. But if the assessed values went down, we can go higher.
We can still do the 1%, right, Brian?
Until you hit
Not-
the 75 cents.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's the way I understood it.
Yeah, that's what I was, it just swings, basically.
Oh, I see.
It goes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're always allowed to do
Yeah.
1% more. And also an FYI, that I think there was a couple years where inflation was low and we did that implicit price deflator extra resolution. And the reason we did that was to protect our banked capacity to allow it to grow at that full 1%, even though we were only doing 15%, 15 cents per thousand, we still did that additional resolution to protect our banked capacity. Am I explaining that okay, Brian?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And if you think about it, by staying at 15 cents per thousand every year, you have increased your taxes by more than 1%, right? Because if the assessed values went up 5% and you keep levying 15 cents per thousand, your tax levy was 5% higher than it was a year before. So you haven't really been subject to the 1% limit in what you're levying because you had all of this banked capacity. Most taxing districts don't have that, and so they're levying close to their maximum. And when that 75 cents hits 50 cents, they're like, we can't afford anything anymore because we need more. Inflation's going up faster than 1%. We can't. And so then they do a levy lid lift. So if you hear levy lid lifts, that's just asking them to go back to a higher rate in one swoop. And if you go to 42 cents, then you'll be like most other taxing districts. And 5 years down the road, once you go to 42 cents, you'll just get the 1% increase every year. And suddenly you don't have enough money, then you'd have to go back to the voters and ask them to raise the rate to 50 cents or 75 cents, whatever you want.
And once you raise that rate, then are you stuck with that rate and that rate could go down just like our rate went down?
Oh, yeah, it just puts you at the back of the top of the hill and then it gradually rolls back down, assuming assessed values increase more. So,
But also, so one of the intentions, or not one of the intention, is to be able to make a bond payment. And the good thing is the bond payment will be fixed. So that for that, whatever period of time we choose to do it. So that's one good thing where we won't have the worry about this extra bucket of money not being enough because it is a fixed bond payment.
yeah, essentially you have an option with this bank capacity to pay off a bond without asking the voters to approve a excess levy or without running out of operating funds while you are doing it.
But you could still make the voters really angry, right? Because they're used to paying 15 cents per thousand and all of a sudden they're gonna be paying, 3 times that.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be explained, right? Which is the two documents prepared kind of try to boil it down to, so, because most people that don't spend their lives thinking about this, bank capacity is just bizarre. Even when you think about it, it's still sometimes hard to explain. But I think you're, you know, far beyond the receiving a lot of criticism for exceeding that 15 cents. I mean, there's always somebody. Somebody's not going to be happy with it, but what you're doing is entirely consistent with the law, and the fact that you're doing it to raise funds to improve the pool is perfectly reasonable. Will you be criticized by somebody? Undoubtedly.
And is there anything protecting, and this is totally, like, I don't even know if you know the answer to it, but I know that some people who have limited incomes get some sort of relief from taxes in some sort. Would that still maybe apply for people if they have those limits?
Yeah, the senior exemptions and whatnot don't change with what you're doing. They're either exempt or they get a reduction or they don't, and it's all based on income. So what you do doesn't affect any of that. That's all
Okay.
covered by state law.
Oh, that was a good question.
Yeah.
Do we know how many people will be affected? Will it affect instead of like 42 cents, because we have like 50% less people paying the full amount, it'll only be 21 cents?
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
Well, when we get our King County levy sheet, I believe, Brian, am I correct in saying that's all taken into account?
Yeah, because you're not levying, you're not going to the county and saying levy at 42 cents per thousand. You're going to the county and saying, based on this worksheet, we can levy whatever the number is $4.5 million, and that's what we want you to levy. The county then apportions it out, and people that, tax exempt properties. I know you've got probably have King County Housing Authority properties within the city of Tukwila. You've got a lot of other tax exempt properties if they're not housing authority, and they just don't pay, so everybody else pays a bit more.
Including the commercial, who is the bulk of
Both of the
our
taxpayers.
taxpayers are the commercial,
Listen,
which is why we're even more unique than Des Moines.
Right, because their taxpayers will feel it more.
Yeah. We get to show the commercial shoulders most of the burden.
Insensitive.
Are there any other questions for Brian? I just want to be respectful of his time. Rad, Anastasia.
No, Ellen did a great job asking the question that I had written down. And it was
Emily, do you have anything that you need as far as, done? Okay. We're good. Thank you so much, Brian. We will be chatting soon.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your meeting. Good night.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm just gonna continue just to wrap up the FSSC report. Notes. And then we can be done with that. And like I did last month, I'm gonna give a little bit more detailed report out just to make sure commissioners understand where we are with FSSC. There's just a lot going on and I want to make sure we update. So we've done the levy. So one of the things that's been going on this month, and Jerry has been joining us for all of our meetings, and one of them was Seattle Parks Foundation. We had a Zoom meeting with them on September 25th, and that was with the contractors who are assigned to our case. And what the purpose of that meeting was to get some just information and start talking about shaping the key messages for the campaign and our case for support to donors. They will be researching potential private and public grant sources. You all would have received an email from Emily that has a Google form on it. And that was last week, and it requests suggestions on who we should interview. So the grant people are asking us, can we think of people that we would like to add to the list of interviewees, whether it's stakeholder, whether it's a donor, whether it's a person who might have a story, just to make sure we're really looking out for all those pieces of who we should be interviewing. So if you could respond on that Google form, they're looking for a list of 20 to 25, is that right? People to interview to start that process.
Yeah, I just want to make it very clear,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be somebody who has the ability to make a large contribution. Again, I want to highlight.
Yes,
Those that have background or historical knowledge or the stories that really allow us to build the case. In addition to those that we may want to add to the list that can also make a contribution, or companies that could make a contribution. So just want to highlight
Thanks.
both very clearly that if you have anything in your brains, please don't do it.
yeah, so thank you for clarifying that, because that is, especially from the commission point of view, we have a lot of history and different kind of context than people who might be going to the pool.
We both.
Yeah. Grant, we received our final approval from King County Council on September the 23rd. So yay, we have a webinar on Wednesday that we're going to, and that's the first stage on next steps. So that's kind of exciting. It's for all recipients, so it's not just for us exclusively. And I know Brad and I are going here.
I didn't know I could.
Oh, yeah. Anyone can.
I didn't know I could, it wasn't like a Zoom meeting, like, that's it.
Okay. Sorry, we will make sure anyone who'd like to go to that, but it's, yeah, next steps, which is kind of exciting, so. And then obviously SFC draft review, we did all that, the retreat, we're gonna be submitting follow-up questions on those that everyone provided. From that, we're gonna be talking about our comp plan in a little bit. The owner's rep, that's one of our next big projects, is getting the scope of work for the RFQ, for an owner's rep. We decided to hold off on the design scope of work because we felt it really important that we get someone on board who is familiar, has expertise that way. And so we're reviewing we reviewed a variety of examples, and we're going to put together a scope of work based on the best from all different experiences, things we see. So that's our next big task of work. We're hoping to get this out before ideally before the end of, by November 30th, but by the end of the year is what our hope is. So that is our workflow for the fourth quarter is grant, SFC contract completion, SPF campaign and initial steps, owners rep RFQ, and of course the rep and comprehensive plan. So I just want to make sure that the commissioners were really up to date with what's going on, because there's a lot going on, and if I unintentionally don't mention something, it is unintentional, because it's just, I would really want everyone to know what's going on. Do we have any questions for FSSC? Okay,
Excellent job.
all of us, yeah, yay teams. Okay, so we can move back to our regular order, which is employee of the month. Lenny, who is up to, do we have a card for her?
We do not. I took them out of my bag for the retreat, but we can still get on there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, when I was around there the month. She's been doing a great job while we were at the conference. She has stepped up and support a lot of areas with programs, so making sure our roster is implemented and just kind of expanding some of her knowledge there. So it's super duper helpful to have her step in and learn that part of the job. She's consistent. She's always present. She's also one of our lifeguards. She covers our midday shift, which is probably the hardest shift to cover in the school year. So, we just appreciate her vast knowledge and willingness to learn, different areas, of the organization. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Now, did she do a little bit of Mako shark stuff?
She does.
Okay.
She is, one of the three, swim instructors that have stepped up to, learn Mako sharks and that.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
She's not a student over at Foster, is she?
She's not a foster student.
Very nice. Does anyone have any other comments?
So is there gonna be a card that we have to swing by and sign it, or?
Yes, I will make sure that the card is.
Oh, okay.
And gotten to the thing.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Lonnie. That's always great to hear the context of, more context on our employees. So thank you. All right, consent agenda.
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Did you skip over citizens?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Citizen
Never
comments.
mind.
Is there-
Okay, let's
Gearing up.
remove that. Retract that. I'm sorry. Let's go to citizen comments. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Should have just. I should have gone by my checklist.
Well, we went out of order, it happened.
Well, no, I had it out of
Where
order.
did we leave it last time? Where we didn't-
Citizen comments. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Just for some context, there was, as Brian said, there's always maybe one person, without naming any names, there was, an asterisk next to the person who left several of the same, this is the person, so just wanted to say, but, most people were very supportive during our closure, just very understanding. And then the other majority of the comments were about swim lessons and the, difficulty to get in and the continuity, which was hopefully addressed this session. I have maneuvered the schedule in many ways to make the adjustments that I possibly can, so. But overall, very, very positive, very supportive through the closure. And then the negative review was interesting. This person has left several negative reviews for other businesses, so I'm not sure if it was just their thing or if they truly thought.
I have a question. The one comment, and maybe this is the same person that you're speaking of the consent stuff, but the one line that struck me is, is the message they receive when they call, that we're closed or after hours, please call back later, and it's a hang up. There's no option for a customer to leave an email, a voicemail, or to call an emergency number or another number. It's just a question it just stuck with me.
There is, so that first line, so you can, when you call the pool, it asks you if you'd like to leave a message for Brad or for the district office, and then for the general pool voicemail. And then, but it also follows up with, I believe, saying that you may have reached us after hours or while we are closed. So it's like a may. Not that we are, our voicemail is not like time-based, so it's just,
So they wouldn't have had the option to go to voicemail. I mean, it would have just automatically, they just push press the number and get to
Yeah.
and they did.
Press some.
Yes.
To specific locations and show them.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. The phone tree,
Mhm.
Good question.
Well, is there any other? So, I just, I do appreciate people taking the time to do feedback on closures. I completely understand. Some people get very frustrated and, surrounding pump closures, and actually I think that speaks ironically to our typical consistency. So it seems even worse because we're not usually closed. So, that's the way I look at it, but I do appreciate the citizens, people taking the time to let us know. All right, now we can move on to consent agenda.
Okay, make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the consent agenda, which are the minutes from September 8th and the vouchers? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, so now we will move into regular order on the reports, starting with the executive director and our district clerk. And welcome back, Emily.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back.
No comment on the report, only want to draw attention to, because we did receive an update today of our 2-year financial audit. So we had a great meeting, this morning with our auditor. We do have some ongoing work with some questions, seeking clarity on some practices, for the chief 23 and 24, which we will revisit and bring back to the table. But the audit is nearing its end. As soon as we're able to, identify and answer the questions that we discussed. So it looks like we're wrapping up, for that 3-year financial piece.
I have a question.
With some challenges, what's that?
I don't need this feature. The only question is just for clarity, regarding the typical housing invest programs, the staff meeting you had.
Mhm.
It says moving forward, meetings will only be attended by those directly operating and developing programs. Does that mean it's not open to anybody, or what does that mean? Is that Parks and Rec staff or just pool staff?
Yeah, great question. TPMP, Parks and Rec, collaboration with the program teams. We'll be meeting regularly to talk about programs, collaboration opportunities, marketing opportunities. Michael May was also a part of this meeting, providing context and deadlines on the occurs. So really, from a programmatic standpoint, and then our quarterly meetings, the goal is to kind of keep those kind of more as an organizational high level development ongoing piece.
Check this program. Thank you. That answers me.
Any other questions on the reports? I just wanted to really thank the team for all the work on the pump. I know it was such an on again, off again, on again, off again, literally, but with all the stress, but you know, we appreciate the efforts that are taken and how much how much you care about it, that it's so nice for a commissioner like me to see that not you care. So I really wanted to thank you for that. I also want to thank Commissioner Shipman for assisting his efforts that he put in during that time, and volunteer extraordinary Dave Pookie. He helped, bring tools. He's keeping the project on time. So I just really wanted to recognize him as well for his efforts in this. And I'm sorry if I forgot anyone, but.
No, running they do the phenomenal between staff and our volunteers. Eric and Dave was incredible, food pump closure, but also other areas, so definitely appreciate it.
I was pleased to see that we've coordinated with TSD to get keys for that place so we can start utilizing that, the service center or whatever it's called. So that's great. And also I'm excited that Emily's going to some of the public records training. So I'd be curious to hear about that. Moving on to operations and programming.
I don't really have much to say. I just want to highlight, a great opportunity we had a couple weeks ago. We have the head team manager of PDST come and be a guest coach for our Mango Sharks team. It was a really, really fun opportunity for both our swimmers and our staff. It's part of our ongoing efforts to not only enhance our swim team because we are not yet competitive year round, but also to build that, that partnership with PDST because they have shown interest in building that partnership. So we are, taking what they can offer at the time. We're hoping to move. So for the rest of the quarter, it's gonna be once a month, and then we're gonna switch between the two groups, because the two groups make the Sharks right now. And then we would like to, in the future, we're already in discussion about once a month guest coaching in addition to having their top swimmers or their high school swimmers come and do swim clinics for our kids. So just on hands of that. I'll do a
Cool.
for that. So we just.
So the fun to watch.
I'm sorry, what is PDST?
So that was gonna ask you.
Pacific Dragon Swim Team, I'm sorry, I say it so often.
And now I see,
Who does the Pacific Dragon? Like, is it a school? Is it a?
Oh, it's a private swim club, like Smack and King Aquatic. They practice at Merriway, Seattle U. I believe at Evergreen as well. So they're also in a variety of locations. So they're I think they're a little bit newer than, Smack and King Connor, but they are, all over the place here.
They have a good logo.
It's pretty straightforward.
I wanted a dragon with like Santa
Yeah.
scales, but no.
No, not like that. Very simple. It only looks like it's like a
That
dark.
worked. So yeah.
Christmas.
Well, good thing.
That's exciting. I wrote this as my note, so I'm so excited about this, giving our kids that opportunity to see outside of our pool of possibilities. So thank you for thinking
Yeah.
about it and working to collaborate. That's exciting.
Yeah, for me, on the operations side, so your model reports and some Q3 data would be the additional materials that you were emailed and presented. So mainly, it provides some more context on the pump and what happened and what all we did. So if you have any questions about the pump and the installation and the fiasco, the madness, you can go ahead and ask. And also, I do want to shout out Aaron as well, who did help with electrical and all that stuff, and he helped fix the tan vacuum. We now have a robot vacuum that functions overnight, and the tan one that has the superior horsepower than anything available on the market. So with that,
No,
yeah, I hear you. With that, the pool is looking a lot nicer. So without that tan vacuum, getting the pool back up and running once the pump was actually fixed would have taken longer. So we were able to get that fully cleaned, filtered, everything, and then we were able to open up. But it was, yeah, mission critical for all that. Any questions on that? The pump failure or?
So what happened, like with the pump failure, are we gonna be able to reclaim any lost costs?
So I don't know about the cost stuff because we don't quite know whose fault it is that correct? Because I came back to the pool after leaving and within an hour and a half.
Let's
Yes,
just do higher level.
I know, so. Yeah.
No, that's okay, so we don't know.
If Fred says no, we don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We
Okay,
have-
well, that's fixed.
We have a functioning VFD and a pump.
Yeah. But we still don't quite know the.
Yeah, ongoing, we just need to figure those nuances out, because there's both things are under warranty,
Oh, great.
from a workmanship standpoint, and from a pump standpoint, so when we get there, we'll.
I like the name Wally.
Yeah.
Cute.
I had to double check that they all had watched that.
I'm gonna say, do they know?
And then if you look at the data, for the, the Q3 data, it's a similar report out as the Q2 data where I, broke it down by memberships and drop-ins, by days a week, by the age groups, and then by type of membership. Something to note, the memberships and the drop-ins, I found it interesting that you have more non-residents visiting for certain activities versus residents. And that includes like family open swim and lap swim. For that both of Q3. In the healthcare, check-in and any additional items, please make a note and I can run some additional things if you have, if you want to see anything else. But healthcare check-ins by weekday, how many are going on? As you can see, not that many people come on the weekends, but they're primarily here for the morning lap swim, once we get to fall, plus our water exercise classes. There is a little chart that shows the usage over the different months in Q3 and then the number of total scans for the different types of memberships. So far, Renew Active has really taken off.
Yeah.
It used to be Silver Sneakers across the board.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
right.
Renew Active has really stepped up, I guess. Or with their marketing, I guess. I don't know what it is, but everybody seems to be moving towards it.
I like to use graphic for easy to read.
Yeah, and then the back final page is just the total scan, checking the data for lap swim, family open swim. And then by month for lap swim and by month for family open swim. So you can kind of see where we transition into our fall schedule based off of the activity that is being scanned into. Like the lap swim, in the mornings, huge, and then it tapers off in the morning, family open swim. But if you do see for the lap swim scans by time by month, that late night lap swimming experiment, as you can see, did not result in that many
Right.
people coming in. We got, I think in July 18 and August 12, which doesn't seem super duper accurate, but because I was there during those times.
On
But
on that
ultimately, it
note,
wasn't very.
I had yet another, accolades from the mayor
Yeah.
about offering that the other night when I saw
Oh, really?
it. So
Because he would come.
So I said, make sure you let other people who aren't at the pool, because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we can market the pool, but it's the people who aren't coming. If we would like that to continue.
Right.
Yeah, he was pretty bummed when I told him we were.
But kudos from him for
Yeah.
having it for the summer.
Heck yeah. So yeah, if you have any additional things you would like me to run or any additional comparisons for the annual report out, quarter versus quarter, let me know.
That's great information. Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for staff on any of the reports?
It was.
Okay, so we will move on to the Tuckwell Pool Advisory Committee. And Gary, do you want to come? You weren't
Oh,
there.
yeah, she wasn't there. I covered for her. Let me just, what page is that on? Oh, there it is. It was mostly budget review. There's a few questions on the levy bankable capacity, which at that time I had very limited knowledge on, and I think Brad tried to explain it, but
No, you did well.
we just said, we'll try to find a better way to explain it to people. And, then they went through. Is it TPAC strategic goals? Is that what they were starting to go through, or
Bylaws.
bylaws? That's what it was. They were going through that by section, and I think they got 2 or 3 sections
Yeah.
done. And that was the bulk of it, I believe. Oh, and then, Bailey Shipman has volunteered as student representative for TPAC.
That's awesome. I'm excited to attend. We actually looked at the Tuckwell School District application, and I believe that's gonna go to review at least a version of it or something at the next CPAC meeting is on the list, just to look at the application. Okay, yeah, super excited. That'll be our very first student rep. I also want to thank Di Myers for decorating the outside of the pool. She loves it and we love it. She got the hay bales, she brought her corn stalks, she brought her decorations, she's got a whole kit bag. She was engaging with people as they're coming in and out. It was a challenge for us to even be there, but because of the parking at Foster. But she just took her truck right up on the grass and unloaded there and I mean, so great. So really appreciate it. Also, another thank you to TPAC members Jackie and Surema, because they went through and reviewed the super exciting comprehensive plan for us. So in advance of our retreat. And so that's great. I really appreciate their efforts there. And looks like that's all I have. Does anyone else have any comments about TPAC? Their next meeting is this Saturday.
Actually, I have a question about the agenda.
Okay. Yes.
Well, It seems like executive session is twice.
Yes, we have two separate ones.
Oh, we are, oh, okay,
Yes,
awesome.
the agenda we approved.
Yes, we approved. That clearly I was studying very deeply.
So thank you to all our amazing TPAC volunteers. If there's no other questions, we'll move on to finance committee. This is Jerry.
This one is, yes.
Yes. You can't duck out of that.
I know. Well, more fine tuning to the 2026 budget. A lot of good input, which we'll be discussing later on. With the discussion around the banking capacity and an additional capital development budget, which is presented tonight in the business items for review. Any feedback that's needed. The next meeting is going to be on October 23rd, which is next Thursday at 5. Usually it's the following week, but I'm not going to be here, so we moved it up. We'll be fine tuning the 2026 budget for November presentation. With all the input from board and TPAC that may come. But all in all, it's been a very good budgeting discussion, very healthy, and I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing so far. And with my report.
Are there any comments, questions for finance committee? I know you're part of it. I just really want to thank everyone for the work on the budget and for accommodating special meetings as needed for budget or FSSC appropriation. And I know it's been a lot, but I think it's all coming together well. Okay, so we've done feasibility. So, we are going to recess into executive session for RCW 42.30.110. B, consideration of site selection or acquisition of real estate purchase or lease. So at this moment, and so for, but how long do you think, Brad? Like till 7:10?
If needed, yeah.
We have to do
You
it
have to give
again.
it time.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
7:10, we can extend it. We always want to err on the side of less. We can talk about Mariners.
Oh, that's true.
Baseball. That's always the joke. All right, so at this time, I'm going to excuse our managers. And Emily's gonna stay with us to help,
Okay,
the information. Thank you. Thank you for leaving that.
There was nothing else you wanted to do.
And we can. So I just want to recognize that Aaron Shipman has joined, our meeting this evening.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, business item A, land acquisition discussion. This was just put in as a placeholder in case we needed it. There was one item regarding the payment of that invoice,
For.
for the.
Kidding, man.
Peter Matthews. So do we want to do that now? I know we've got something we want to clarify on there.
No, I would ask that we recommend approval of the invoice contingent upon clarity on the executive summary page 2.
I second that, or.
Well, he
make
doesn't
that-
get to make a motion.
Okay, I think Brad's motion.
But it was well articulated.
I make a motion to approve. The contingent on the.
Second, are you,
Is that a second? Somebody made the motion for me?
Yes, I make it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm seconding that.
Excellent.
so is there any discussion on that?
Can you state the motion, please?
Can we rephrase the
State the
motion?
Restate it, restate it.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the payment of the Kidder Matthews invoice contingent upon a satisfactory
Clarity on.
clarity on executive page 2.
Thank you.
Jerry, did you want to make a motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Moving. Business item, B, unclaimed property transfer. Who would like to? Brad, would you? That was Amy's thing, or Jerry, or whoever.
I can help you. Let me. Yeah.
I know it's something we do every year.
Yeah, this is a standard unclaimed property transfer authorization, typically goes to the board. These monies are typically credits of unclaimed monies throughout essentially the history of operations for, I believe it's a number of years, a couple of years leading up to when this round of unclaimed properties is due to be transferred to the Department of Revenue. So really, the discussion is, should we recommend approval of resolution 2025-04, 2025 unclaimed property transfer authorization.
So the way this works is, a motion for reading by title only.
Yes, motion for reading by title only, please.
Second.
Who's reading?
So Emily, do you want to read it, or I can read it too?
Sorry.
Here, I'll read it. Just so I'm just reading the title only, so we don't have to read the entire resolution. Resolution 2025-04, unclaimed property transfer resolution, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Tukwila Pool Metropolitan Park District authorizing the sorry, I need to say a vote on that, don't I? Did we vote on that?
No, we.
So we did a
The motion
motion to read by
title
only. Okay, all those in favor of reading by title only. Did I do that already?
No, we did not.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
We
Okay.
motioned on, seconded it.
You just didn't vote on
And then
it.
the reading.
I know, I shouldn't have read it yet.
No discussion.
Yes.
My goodness. But I think it's okay.
Okay.
So now we can just.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, now I can read it by title only. Sorry, I just proved myself. Resolution 2025-04, unclaimed property transfer resolution, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Tukwila Pool Metropolitan Park District authorizing the transfer of unclaimed property to the Washington State Department of Revenue. So now I'm looking for a motion to approve resolution.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-04.
Second.
All right, any discussion on resolution 2025-04?
This seems interesting because this is true chat that, you know, in today's Google world, we can't locate the person who.
Yeah.
But let's give it to the state.
Okay. Well,
No.
the state is holding it for the person.
And then eventually.
All those in favor of approving resolution 2025-04, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed. Okay. Now moving on to business item 10C, which is the draft budget review.
Right. I'm gonna turn this, so with one
Absolutely.
exception, that I do believe the date for November 27th, under the working timeline is incorrect. Is it for the November finance meeting, it should be the 24th or the 30th? It's okay, it's just for clarity, I just wanted to make sure it reads correctly, but I'm gonna pass this to Brad, our executive director, because he basically, compiled this, and if there's any follow-up, I'm happy to assist.
Yeah, thank you for that. Budget review. I'm just gonna go through just high level, standard process. We start our budget process June. We are currently, a couple of months away on budget approval in December. Should we reach, budget that everybody agrees on, including TPAC, volunteers, staff, and on our board. The biggest things, 2026 wage scale, no longer reflects a 2-part wage scale that we typically provide, over the last 2 years, roughly 3 years, that we took over the minimum wage cap. So we are now a 1 annual wage scale, since we have caught up to, and or exceed minimum wage requirements in Tukwila. So we are no longer, fighting, as a small business to meet the expectations. So the wage scale is present in the packet. It does reflect the
The current minutes way.
Thank you. The current amendment is 2165.
2026.
The general fund, just so everybody's clear on the budget, lines 6 and 7, property tax. We typically see one line for property tax for our regular operation levy of 15 cents per 1,000. Because of discussions and ongoing discussions about the potential to levy up to our 42 cents, or essentially our bank capacity. We had, for clarity and transparency, added a new line 7, which will show any additional revenues that we would take from our bank capacity and then be transferred out to potentially new approved capital development fund. So we would not exceed utilizing any monies beyond 1.5 estimated for our general operation, as we typically have done historically. And then again, all other money would be transferred out at the end of the year to the capital development fund should we get approved. So that's going to be a few ones regarding property taxes, with a total collection of roughly, again, this is all estimated at early, still needs to be refined, 4.158 million and some change.
So just for clarity, just, I'm gonna interject, the budget, draft in the very back, I mean, whatever that draft, it's showing the capital development fund. It's listed here, it says CD fund, but it's the capital development fund. So we have already separated that, sorry, Brad, I just want to.
That's a great clarification, the visuals on that. Jerry, what page is that?
The easiest one to look at is the one right before this life cycle, the life cycle one, because it's a couple times, but this is the easiest, yeah. So if you look for this page, and it's this one right here. So look, no, it's a little right there.
That's the one.
Because all it is showing money coming in, small appropriation. This one. That's it.
Would be that capital fund, so this would be the transfer of those additional monies.
So it shows the 0 beginning fund, then transfers in. The only thing it doesn't have is the interest fund, and the interest will be added to our.
The interest of that, like, for next year.
That much
of-
money.
For next year.
Of gained off of that.
Yes,
Yes.
because,
No.
I think it's left 30 grand, which actually does mean we will be doing a couple transfers probably, because otherwise it will all sit in general fund and this fund won't actually see its own interest. So we probably do like a mid-year one. I'm thinking to be able to get interest, otherwise there won't be any interest.
Actually,
You need to get the interest.
Yeah, we will get interest regardless.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we'll talk about
yeah,
that.
we need to talk about that offline.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's a great discussion for what we're dealing with the auditor.
Oh, okay,
Better recommendation on how
Okay.
to structure and or move money
perfect.
based on how we need to report it in our annual reports.
Yeah,
And that all came up today from the historical fees that we.
but there will be interest regardless of where it lands.
There will be
I just wanted to make sure it's not lost. More money, yay.
That's the biggest update to your general revenue lines, compared to our last 2 years of budgeting. Expense updates, just so everybody's aware, the following expense lines that were revised on the 2026 budget. This would most likely be the biggest change on our expense lines. There has been discussion throughout winter 2024 and throughout 2025 to potentially change our management structure to an aquatics director position as opposed to 2 managers leading the day-to-days. Job description will be floated, is being floated currently. For those that will do a quick draft review. But the aquatics director position then would be supported by 2 part-time aquatic coordinators. The aquatic coordinators allows the operation to capture an additional 16 hours of staff time as opposed to 40 hours staff time. So that would be a change for us, which will help us clean up gaps, lunch breaks, cover weekends, and ensure there is appropriate and consistent leadership, in the building on a regular basis. Also supports when and if, leadership is out of the building. So it's a model that I have been exploring and would love to see, put into practice. What this does for us is it also allows us to recapture some costs. These two aquatic coordinator positions will not be stipend eligible, which has allowed us to drive some of the costs down. I'm also have reduced our head start tuitions from 100 and something thousand to 75,000. So between the head guard twos and the aquatics coordinators should support a full aquatic operations. And again, all of this is still needing to be refined from a wage scale perspective, job descriptions, and this implementation. But I think a lot of attention there. So if you are reviewing the budget and say, hey, this looks completely different than what we're traditionally used to, that is a major change on the expense lines. Moving forward, the general fund, 2026 draft budget is currently reflecting $4.894.67 million surplus. Again, that 2 point something million of that is your bank capacity that should be connected out. So that is very number to see, but that is not going to be. The end of the day. And then our CIP fund reflects the typical 105,000, which is 75,000 from the CIP, 30,000 for demolition. That will be transferring for 2026. The anticipated projects for 2026 is the boiler heat exchanger, which runs the pool water. We have that one being moved each year just in case. And we don't know when that is there. It is also a costly repair. Fluoride continues to be a major topic of conversation. We have not made any headway on it, but that is being pushed to 2026, so it can continue to be a priority or listed as a priority. Lighting on the pool deck is a safety feature. We will be doing some lighting work, and there's been some discussion about security cameras. Whether that upgrading the system and or repositioning certain cameras and adding a few cameras throughout the facility. We also this year had our health department inspection. The slide has been deemed essentially a hazard, and I'll say that out loud. It is listed on the health inspection report, so it cannot be utilized. So there is some discussion costs to appropriately set the footings within the pool deck, so the bolts and the mounting hardware don't rust and degrade and then cause footing issues. And or based on our discussions about future development and facility, do we invest in money? So it's kind of a toss up. Do we invest X or do we wait until we know what we're doing with our long-term future and builds? So that project is there and listed as a potential removal of this line. Again, not final. Capital Development Fund, which is tentative, that's discussed for tonight, tentatively established. It's 2025, the resolution. This would reflect, and I think that number is wrong. Transfer. Oh yeah, this one would reflect. It reflects 75,000 transfer in, but the money being moved into the Capital Development Fund also indirectly in that bucket of money includes the 75,000 that we have been setting aside for feasibility study services and planning. So we will no longer be allocating that in our traditional CIP lines. That will be moved and lumped into the 2.6 million going to the capital development.
What about money that's obtained from Seattle Parks? Where does that
Seattle
go?
parks, like the grants.
They're
and
not
things.
there.
Yeah, so the great question, that will go into our capital development fund. So King County grant, once we start spending, we just don't know what that is, so we can't budget for it right now. What our expenses are actually gonna be, but that's where all of that will be housed, so it's super transparent. Everything capital project will be in here.
That would be interesting, because how are you gonna be able to budget how much money people are gonna wanna give us?
Well, as we get the money, it's going to
Oh,
show an
okay.
overage.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So each project in the CIP, just like the CIP fund, each project with capital development fund will have its own standing area, so we can see the buckets of money specifically related. The other goal would be at that same point in time, when and or before you start spending out of those buckets, each bucket needs to have a separate project budget. No longer will you be operating on this budget to reflect just general spending out of each bucket. Every project moving forward out of capital development and CIP needs to have its own budget work. So it's very clear what we're spending and how we're spending. Again, this is information only, open to feedback. I'll turn that back over to Vanessa here in a second. And so our next meeting, as Jerry stated, is on October 23rd at 5 p.m. We'll be taking any and all input, including the representative TPAC, to continue to refine a budget for the next review, which will also be provided at the environmental board.
So, and just to speak a little bit further to what Ellen was saying, like, you know, one of the questions is, where does the $5 million go, right? Why isn't that being provided for? Because it's a reimbursement one. We don't know when we're gonna start using that, so we can't really budget for it. We can't just put 5 million because it's 25% match, so. That would be why.
Thank you, Brian.
No, thank you.
Any other questions on the budget? Or do you have anything more you'd like to? Okay. No, because our fearless finance leader,
Hold on.
you know, will be Andrew in the November meeting. Because Jerry will not be there.
All the best.
So.
Lucky me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All the
All right,
confidence in the
Andrew,
world.
start preparing.
I did it.
I didn't plan that way.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so moving on to King County Fund Resolution 2025-05. And this is a resolution, so we really should probably do this right way. Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only? Then we can have a discussion about it.
Yeah. Please read the resolution by title only.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Again,
All those in favor of reading the resolution by title only, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So, resolution 2025-05, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Tukwila, oh, that's a mistake, Tukwila Pool Metropolitan Park District to establishing Capital Development Fund number TBD by King County solely for the purpose of holding capital development funds. Yeah, you saw it too. Okay, so now discussion on this.
Need to add the word pool.
Yes, in both places.
Well,
Yes.
in another place too. but-
Three. I did get down there. Tukwila. That's an easy add. All right, so I think everyone is understanding of another place. Okay, fine.
Well, we was.
So it says it right here. Where you,
At five board of commissioners, the Tukwila Metropolitan Park, it's a big one. No,
it says it pool right here.
oh, this one here, where it says we passed it.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
So
I
that-
didn't know that.
No, that's, we'll just make sure wherever it says Tukwila Metropolitan, it says pool. Park District, Tukwila Pool. Okay, so the idea behind this is that we have a separate capital fund dedicated solely to our capital projects, so everything's very transparent, so everything, we just actually talked a little bit about it during the budget discussion, everything that's coming in for it and going out will come through this fund, so it doesn't get commingled. And just to be clear, any feasibility appropriations from previous years, although it ran through the capital fund, it was separately appropriated, so no money ever was diminished in that capital life cycle fund. Even though we were paying our feasibility out of it, we did an additional appropriation each year. So I just want to be really clear that there was never, that life cycle always maintains at the level that was expected. and budgeted for. But now,
Great job explaining that.
perfect. Now we will house it all in one separate fund. We set up a fund in, I believe, 2016 or 2017. And to do our capital way back then, and so this is just another fund, and it's pretty typical for districts to have multiple. So this is not unusual. Brad, what are you looking at?
Nothing,
Okay.
I'm.
All right. I'm just concerned. Is there any questions about this?
So I'm just
Yeah.
clarifying for myself. So this is the money, when we start working on increasing the amount we're bringing in, is gonna go into our main fund and we'll be transferring from that one into this fund
Correct.
when we do like our annual transfer of that money. Okay.
At the time we transfer money, it will get transferred, and additionally
Basically,
grant.
This is just to set up the account.
Yes, this is just to, like, we're going down to the bank and saying we'd like to.
We wanna open a bank.
I mean, it seems very complicated.
But. So again, going back to Seattle Parks, if they give us, if they raise $2 million.
Yeah.
In March, and then
Yes.
another $500,000.
I like the way you're talking.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. And the Mariners donate, but is that money, does that money have to wait until the end of the year to get transferred into the CIP? Not the CIP fund, but this
To
new
this
fund?
capital development fund. So those are the things that it sounds like we're gonna be talking about regarding the state auditor and making sure we use best practices as to how, but basically it will funnel through the general fund into this by the end of the year.
But it would be unfortunate not to be able to get it into the correct fund so that the correct fund would get the interest.
That was where I was going with it in my budget
let's
discussion,
transfer.
but I think we need
Yeah,
to listen
exactly.
to the auditor and just make sure
Okay.
we're doing it so it's cleanest and most transparent.
Yeah, sorry, and I shouldn't say is gonna make that decision, or
No.
they're helping us make best decisions based on what we're currently going through, which is triggering
Yes.
conversations we need to have internally, financially, and with Alan Dance, our accountant.
Oh.
For best practices. So we need to have those discussions, because Ellen does bring up a great point. I don't know if Seattle Parks Foundation can just deposit monies into our general fund, and or does that need to go to our US bank account first? So there's gonna be some discussions we need to have, so the avenue in which the money needs to flow is appropriate, and it all makes sense. To go from which account to which account and how often.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like, does it even have to even go into a general funds account?
I know, it's interesting,
Or-
but that's a great question. I don't know, we just been doing it that way, doesn't mean that it can't go directly to the correct account. We just
Especially
don't
if we're
know.
talking about a lot of interest on
Yeah, to make sure that the interest is
being
appropriately,
used by the appropriate.
yeah.
Well, and it sounds like if not, then it might just become a part of the monthly meeting where it's just transferring
Well, we
that
have to
money,
transfer
Yeah.
the money.
every month, whether, if it's like just.
Yeah, no, I get
Somebody
it.
donated $5,000, type thing but it's in for this purpose.
I love that we're having this problem. But yeah, I think that this,
We're not having the problem yet.
yeah,
But
but it
Somebody
will,
wants a
In
refund.
preparation for
but it would be like we've done the grant that way, King County grants before and stuff, so we just need to really figure out the best way and we've got some time to do that, so.
This is just to get the account set
Yeah,
up.
this is
Or-
just
Just be ready to put all that money in
Okay,
that's gonna be given to us.
so you're talking, so the pool is talking to the auditor to get some ideas of what they recommend or what best practices are. And so when is this coming back?
So this isn't coming back at all.
No.
This is simply just, we'd like to open the bank account. We'll figure out how it gets transferred into
Okay.
this bank account later. We just want to open the bank account.
And that's what this is.
Yeah, go open the bank account. Get it.
So there's been a motion and a second. I just want to make sure that we have all the discussion that's needed. Is everyone clear on this?
I was clear at the beginning, I just double checking.
You came late.
Thank
Catch me
you.
up.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy you're here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and say all in favor of approving resolution 2025-05 as sorry, hold on, wait.
With
There is with, yes, there needs to be an amendment, just a typographical. Anyway, an error, it just says it said Tukwila Metropolitan Park District, it should say Tukwila Pool Metropolitan Park District
Correct,
updated, so.
yes.
All those in favor of approving resolution 2025-05 with that small typo corrected? Say aye.
I,
I thought one of us had to make a motion for that first.
To amend it just for a typo?
Doing? No. I mean,
I think your
I'm fine with
motion,
approving.
I mean, I guess if you really want to be super cautious, you could make a motion to amend the resolution by adding,
I mean,
Yeah, no, you're probably right, so
no, wait, did we make the motion to
We
approve
made
the
a-
resolution?
We made a motion to approve the resolution with the amendment that the word pool will be put into the.
Oh, right,
I think we're good.
all right, so are we all good on that? Thank you. We did a second, right?
Second.
Troublemaker over there.
Sure, she just thanked him too.
All those in favor of approving resolution 2025-05 with the amendment of adding a pool, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Yay, we are, hopefully it all flows through King County okay now, we've got to, hopefully it doesn't come back. It came back last time. So we tried to be proactive like years ago.
Oh,
So we really tried to be proactive, so I'm cautiously optimistic. That's. All right. My favorite part of the time of the year for. Okay. So comprehensive plan. I'm gonna put my notes here. All right, I just wanted to have another time just set aside to make sure in case anyone had any thoughts on the comprehensive plan after we all met as a group and had a great discussion, just in case there was any more input. I'm happy to incorporate it prior to tomorrow when I'm going to be doing it so it can go to TPAC for this weekend, the updated review. Is there any other thoughts since our retreat?
I do not have any more.
Okay. And that was. Okay, seeing none, commissioner report outs. That was by position number, I just. Okay, yes, I know. We've been spending a lot of time together. Okay, so commissioner report, obviously a lot of what I've been working on is FSSC focus, but I have a couple things that I wanted to report on. Myself and Commissioner Gangler and TPAC Di Myers all went to the Mount Rainier pool.
Oh, yeah.
Celebration of their 50th anniversary on September 21st. It was super nice to be invited. And it was great to see fellow commissioners from our neighboring district and of course a certain council member, Jean. So that was great to see. It was really nice to see everyone, just talk about the pool and it's great. So.
Oh, and they had somebody, the son of the guy who was part of the forward thrust movement.
Yes, Jim Ellis's.
It was really neat.
Yeah, that was, and his wife, and that was
really neat.
Yeah, they put a lot of thought into that, so that was fun, and we actually had an opportunity to meet Susan Fablado from Splash Forward, and that was to meet her in person, that was really fun. To connect with her, and that was good, so that was great, and then on September the 30th, at the City of Tequila's council candidate meetup, I had an opportunity to further discuss our pool and capital projects in the future with different candidates and residents. So it's always good to get out in the community and talk to people, and lots of positive feedback about how this is so great for the community, et cetera, which was it's great to hear. And we also had an opportunity to discuss with state legislator Dave Hackney, who appreciated hearing firsthand from one of us, a commissioner, about our project. And I gave him a heads up that in the next couple of years, you might be hearing from us. So I was very candid about that, and he was very candid that he appreciated everything he heard and the fact that we had, good financial footing, which is always really helpful. He was on a capital committee before, and so it was nice. It was really nice to meet him firsthand and have that conversation. And my last thing I want to report is I just want to really thank everyone for participating in our retreat. Last weekend, I was really pleased with the variety and the diversity of the discussion that was happening. And I loved having commissioners and TPAC and staff and everyone there all contributing together. And thank you, Jerry, for helping organize, sort out our caterer.
Great food.
The food was awesome. Brad and Emily and Anastasia and Matthew and Amy, like all for facilitating and helping set that up. I was really pleased with how it turned out. And I know Brad and I chatted briefly about it, and thank you, everyone.
She did a great job.
Yeah, no,
Yep, I think we all agree.
that was good. End of my report. Number 2.
You're next.
That's
Me?
2.
We're gonna
Are you directing?
Okay, no, I'm not.
You're different again.
Okay, you ready for the end of that?
I have no report.
Oh, I'm free. No report.
I'm for. The only report that I have is that I was actually at the same event with Vanessa with the council. That we hope to be.
Yeah,
He's like a
candidate.
or candidate, thank you. Which was very educational and a good learning experience, and again, writing a good about the pool was very, they really appreciated it, so, and the private pool.
I guess that just leaves me on number 5.
Number 5.
Nice, fun, easy number.
Well, yeah, not too much.
Counting.
But I think the main thing is, I think with like the pump being down and dealing with some of that sort of issues, like my main thing that kind of did this last month, which was fun and interesting to kind of see how that process went about, for the unfortunates of that's it. I still kind of think, an internal issue with the actual electric motor that came from the factory.
Interesting.
So
Well, we heard
hopefully
good things about it.
we can get
Yeah.
that.
And you missed when you got all the
Yeah,
accolades
you got
earlier in the
some of
meeting.
Oh, did I?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
But, yeah, but it was like, yeah, I mean, I like saying, and then due to my wonderful child being on swim team, being able to kind of get to go to a couple swim meets, including this evening, at our pool, which is like awesome to see that.
Was it at our pool?
Mhm, tonight
Oh
was
my
at our
God,
pool.
But they do.
Good.
Good.
There was only one team tonight, so it was fun. And then also for, I think last Thursday, they'd be able to go to the Evergreen pool.
Oh.
And which I'm surprised I've never been over there, but it was kind of fun to go to another pool too and kind of see how things are going and running over there. And, what, like, I don't think the competition is, but to kind of see, like what one of the other area pools is that, I talked to a lot of people that swim there, and I did swim at our pool also. So
And it's completely different. It's not like going to Des Moines where you can see it.
right,
They
it's,
got
it's
different
a very different
configuration.
pool, and architecturally like super cool. Like I was like
All the glass.
very cool with the glass, but then also kind of like the trees coming up and the shaping, and the one time probably would like really great wood ceiling and stuff in there, but.
Oh,
But interesting, Brenda is another running a capital campaign, and
Yes.
actively raising money for development, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting.
And then, like I said, you can go there and you can see, yeah, I mean, like that's definitely the pool's aged also. So, yeah, so it is interesting to kind of go to some of these other pools and be like, yeah, all these pools are definitely hitting that, end of life cycle, and, unfortunate, but true fact of what they are. Yeah. Anyways, and then all the fun stuff on Saturday. With the retreat. So thank you to everybody that did such a great job on that.
Okay, so the TPMPD is going to recess into executive session for RCW 42.30.110 G to review the performance of election study.
So we're
So
taking a brief.
we're gonna take a brief recess before entering into executive session, but the executive session will last till when?
I don't know.
How long?
When is it gonna start? In like 2 minutes?
It will start at we'll give people time, 5 till.
5 to 8.
So like quarter after, 8:15 or longer, what do people think? I'm fine.
I think quarter after, and if we need to add.
We can always extend, yeah. Okay, so it will start at 7:55 and projected end at 8:15.
What?
Oh, she's.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know that. I know that's why I was like, thinking, how did I miss that?